Well, his email address is Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R.
Okay, your mic's hot.
I'm muted.
Just let you know.
You didn't even have the first letter on it.
Have you had experience with a hot mic before?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're live.
Can you pull up YouTube over there, please?
I sure can. Hey, everybody that's listening out there. Meteorologist Ryan Weekman, meteorologist Kaylee Bowers here. We are live on YouTube with an update here, knowing that severe storms are possible later on today, specifically 2 to 7 p.m. So we wanted to do a Facebook Live so you can get an update on exactly what we're thinking and what we're looking at here. Again, hail, yes. Tornadoes certainly look possible for us as well as we look at the forecast for today. Let's go ahead and bring the camera up. I want to say hi to everybody.
Say hi to everyone. See, there we go. Hi, guys.
Hey, good to see everybody.
Happy Tuesday. We do have that alert day today.
Yes, so we're looking at that for the forecast for us. Again, if you're just tuning in, 2 to 7 p.m. is what we're looking at specifically for us here. You know, when we talk about severe storms a lot, Kaylee, we say when we issue these alert days, you know, there's a chance for strong winds, there's a chance for hail. Oftentimes we try to shy away a little bit from using the word tornadoes because obviously that has big implications. Today's one of those days where we are putting it a little bit more at the forefront because we have a setup that is unique and we think it's a real possibility, especially with kind of how we're situated. And we'll look at that here with the setup across the area. If you're just checking in, let us know where you're watching from. There's a comment section down below. We'll give some shout outs to some communities. And if you want a specific forecast or have a very specific question, Kaylee, you'll answer them, right?
We will answer them. Yes, we are live on YouTube. I believe also on hopefully our website, maybe even Facebook and everything. But here are a couple of things that you do need to know about these afternoon storms. So we always like to say there's 3 things you need to know before you head out the door. Like Ryan mentioned, the timing of this is around 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock in the evening. So a lot of the times the kids will be heading home from school, you'll be heading home from work, all those different things, whatever your afternoon and evening plans will be. And our biggest threat, hail, the potential for a few tornadoes, but also that wind threat. And that's not just us here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. It's a good portion of the state as well that has that potential for these risks, but it's going to be mainly south, so down towards Findlay, towards Upper Sandusky, Marion, Lima, Wapakoneta, Columbus, even down towards Dayton and Cincinnati. And in fact, looking at that Storm Prediction Center risk, I mean, Ryan, this is a big risk for millions of people.
Well, it extends south of Atlanta all the way up here. We're in Toledo on the extreme north end of this, but I did notice some of those communities that you were listing, Kaylee, when you said Wapakoneta, when you say Lima, when you say Columbus and Dayton. Those are some of the same areas that were infected by significant tornado touchdown just a few weeks ago. So you are going to find some overlap between this system and the risk and the threat that we're talking about and what has already happened for this spring. So if you're hearing some of those same cities called out, it's not your imagination. No, some of the same cities are under the gun here. And Kaylee, you do a great job breaking down. I see a lot of colors on here. I might look at this map and say, but the bullseyes on Cincinnati and Columbus, we're fine up here in Toledo. It's red down there.
Yeah, the one thing that we always say is don't get too fixated on the colors. Everywhere in Ohio, whether you're northern, southern, central, eastern, western, no matter where you are, you have that potential for strong storms for today. So if you're in Toledo, you also have that threat for storms like those folks in Columbus, down towards Cincinnati, towards Athens. I mean, this is going to be a very powerful and impactful storm. And I know we're saying some certain things and our tone might be a little bit different. We're not here to scare you. We want you guys to take this seriously as well. So everyone across the state of Ohio, and in fact, let's go back and look at this outlook. Like Ryan mentioned, it goes all the way down to Atlanta, towards Panama City Beach, towards Jackson, Mississippi, towards Memphis, Nashville, Paducah, London, Kentucky, just east of Champaign, Illinois, Fort Wayne, Indiana. So a lot of people will be impacted from storms if they haven't been already for today.
So we got some people watching here. We've got a hello from Brian. Clyde giving you a shout out this morning. That's one of those communities that's south of Toledo. So we'll be watching you closely later on this evening. Upper Sandusky, William's checking in from there. William, you're going to be a city that we talk about a lot here on this YouTube Live. Tiffin, Stryker, and North Baltimore all checking in. Great to see everybody out there this morning. Again, if you have specific questions, go ahead and ask. And when we're looking at the map right here, Kaylee, something else that I really like to highlight, and this morning I was mentioning this, many times when we look at what's happening in the atmosphere here, you'll see the different shades of colors, but specifically what we're looking for is what's the exact location of a warm front going to be? Because if you step outside right now, we've got the lake breeze, temperatures are in the 40s. You're like,
it's chilly.
This is not a severe weather day.
No.
Listen, I've felt severe weather days. This is not it.
No.
We're looking for this warm front that's barely going to sneak into those southern counties, Putnam County, Hancock County, Seneca, and Wyandotte counties. Those are the ones, and when we have a warm front and storms moving in, a lot of times that warm front can add extra spin to the atmosphere, and that's why we're specifically mentioning tornadoes today in those counties as a distinct possibility. Of course, if a storm develops in that exact spot, a lot of things fluctuate and can decide exactly where a storm develops and moves, but today's one of those days.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier a couple different counties and cities. One place we didn't mention was Indian Lake, who just got impacted 2.5, 3 weeks ago. You guys do have that chance once again for some very strong, powerful storms as well. So just want you guys to be aware as you're cleaning up, as you're rebuilding, there's a chance for a second round as well.
And I heard Governor DeWine's supposed to be there today touring the damage. I wonder if that's going to be maybe moved because of the storm threat for today. A couple other people. We have Bellevue, Grand Rapids, Bowling Green, Plymouth, Napoleon, Rising Sun. Thank you very much for tuning in this morning. And we got a question here asking what times it's going to start. Should we be getting our children from school early? Chelsea, this is a question that people are asking down in the Dayton area. So one of my friends, absolutely not. Don't get your children early from school. Honestly, almost all schools are built much more safely than a traditional home, which is built with wood. Most schools are built with brick and masonry and are much more safe than a traditional home would be. Just keep your normal routine, keep your eye to the sky, especially if you're to the south. If you're in the Toledo metro, don't change your routine. Just be weather aware on a day like this. The threat is much higher, I would say, further to the south.
And that's a good question. I know a lot of parents are probably thinking, okay, what do I do with my child for today? Again, just keep that routine, and I'm sure you're thinking about the same thing. What do I do with my child this afternoon?
Listen, I've got pickup that happens at 3:30 today too here in the Toledo area. I'm not changing my routine here. We're just paying attention to what's going to be happening. We've got Bowling Green, Findlay, Sandusky, and others asking just how strong some of those storms could be. So pay attention. We got some more knowledge that we're going to say. So what's happening out there right now?
Yeah, so looking outside right now, we do want to mention that the National Weather Service is having some radar issues all across the country. So they're doing their best to work as best and quickly as they possibly can to send out those radar signals. But this is what we're seeing outside as of now, it looks like, within the past couple minutes or so. But I want to widen out the bigger picture, and you can really see how it's definitely there's no radar right now anyways.
That's okay.
So situations like that, but
perfectly clear.
We wish.
No,
we
maybe
wish.
not so much. Here, let me see if I can bring something up. Go ahead.
But there we go. Good job, Ryan.
So this is the line of storms I went through earlier today.
Yeah. And sometimes our graphics act up as well. But just be prepared that we could have some issues with radar going on this afternoon and this evening. So we're going to keep you updated both on air and online. But you can see there's no active thunderstorm warnings. There's no active tornado warnings. I know it's been very busy down from places in West Kentucky, Central Kentucky, but we're still watching that line just moving into Southern Ohio and even Eastern Kentucky. So if you're down towards the Portsmouth area, just east of Lexington even, you're seeing some very heavy rain showers right now.
Look at this. Now, for those that don't know, Kaylee, you used to work over in Southern Illinois in Paducah. I was hoping I could bring up our radar image, but it really doesn't want to work today.
No,
so
it's acting up.
They had some pretty significant warnings out there earlier this morning down along the Ohio River, right? You were watching that closely.
They had about, I believe, 4 tornado warnings just near the Paducah area alone. So my former teammates down there were working very hard tracking those storms, and my heart goes out to those folks, prayers and all that stuff. But that's just one line. That's the line that we're watching right now in Southern Ohio and Eastern Kentucky. That's really not going to be impacting us here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan.
Off to the east.
Yeah, that's going to be down to the east, or down to our south and our east. We're watching that line later on this afternoon and this evening that really hasn't developed just yet.
This is one of the things that's really tricky about severe weather, because we are looking at what ingredients are there. And a couple of key components we look at: what are the winds doing in the atmosphere? We call that shear. Not only do they increase with speed as you go up in the atmosphere, but it can turn directions. And doesn't take a rocket scientist or a meteorologist to figure out turning winds in the atmosphere are a bad thing when you're talking about storms. One of the other things we talk about, that we mentioned, that feeling. It doesn't feel like a severe weather day. You need the moisture, you need the heat, the lift to get those thunderstorms exactly going. So these are things, when you look at radar, obviously it was clear because we're having the radar issues, but we are forecasting these ingredients to come together and poof, for thunderstorms to develop. And until they actually do, there's a certain level of uncertainty that naturally goes with a forecast. So I see your questions over here, guys. Some of you are asking, how bad are these storms going to be? Well, the fact is the ingredients are there for this to be a bad storm day. And so we want to be watching this closely from 2 to 7 p.m. We've seen already this spring what storms are able and capable of producing. Let's not forget tomorrow is the 50-year anniversary of the super outbreak of 1974. For those of you wondering about that, that's the Xenia, Ohio tornado. So let's hope we don't deal with anything anywhere near that. But it's just a reminder, this is the time of the year where obviously storms happen.
It's spring severe weather season.
Yeah.
And really talk about jumping right into it, getting those storms happening. And in fact, we've already seen so many tornadoes already across the state of Ohio. I believe we've hit our maximum average, or we've doubled.
Oh yeah, we've pretty much gone past our average for the whole year.
The whole year, that's right.
Yeah.
So, and we're still just in the beginning of spring severe weather season. But again, we're not here to hype, we're not here to scare, we're just here to inform you and keep you posted. But looks like we're seeing some other questions on there. What are we looking at?
Well, a couple more shout outs. We got a couple more people from BG, a couple people south of Findlay here saying, one person saying they've had 4 inches of rain south of Findlay since the weekend. So obviously that's a lot of rain. And when we think about too is a lot of times trees and their root systems can be weakened when you get a lot of heavy rain. So if you have a storm that produces strong gusty winds, sometimes those trees come down a little bit easier on days like this. And certainly winds are capable of producing up to 60 mile an hour in some of these stronger storms.
Yeah, so we're talking 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible, not even talking about the possibility for rotation, but there is that chance for a few tornadoes as well. But hail, 1.5 inches in diameter. It's smaller than a baseball, but bigger than a ping pong ball. So this could be some very large hail.
Ping pong ball's pretty big. That'd do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be a large possibility for some large hail as well, as we're trying to figure out to measure it. But I do have a favor. If you guys do get any storm damage photos, first off, take them safely. We want you to be safe. A picture and video is not worth any of this stuff. But if you see hail outside, I told my dad this the other day when he was showing me pictures of hail, bring it inside, but then take a comparison picture with a quarter, with a penny, a nickel, a dime, something, just so that way we can see, okay, how large actually is this hail, so we know where we're seeing it from.
Makes sense, yeah, and we want you to be safe while you're doing that, as Kaylee mentioned. But yeah, if you're able to send those in, obviously that's a good thing. And if you see us kind of looking off screen, people don't know this, but we've got about 10 TV monitors in the weather center here. There's obviously a lot of new data and information coming in. So I know, Kaylee, we're analyzing some of the satellite imagery showing some clear skies further to our south across central Indiana. That's not a good sign down there. Obviously, that's leading to heating, which aids these thunderstorms in developing. We did have a question from, looks like Harley, asking, how's BG looking? Keep hearing about Toledo, Findlay, nothing for BG, so obviously sandwiched in between. BG is something that we will obviously keep a close eye on, but I would say may sit just a little bit further north of the greatest threat. Doesn't mean you're completely clear and out of the woods. That's not what we're saying. But when we have to categorize this and say who's most likely to see severe weather, who's least likely to see severe weather, it basically decreases the further north you go, increases the further south you go across northwest Ohio. Southeastern Michigan, maybe a couple of stronger storms with some small hail, maybe some gusty winds, but we're really focused on southern parts of northwest Ohio. As Kaylee, you've got our hour-by-hour forecast running here showing 2 p.m.
Yeah, so there's that 2 o'clock hour. It's just starting to develop to our southern counties in between Lima and Dayton over towards Muncie, Indiana. And we're just going to go this hour by hour. Here's 3 o'clock. And again, this is just one of our many weather models that we are showcasing, but this is the one that's really, we have kind of higher confidence in. So here's 3 o'clock. Again, if you're in Toledo, you should be fine at that time. Picking up your kids from school, you should be fine. Just starting to see some of those light to moderate rain showers pick up. But again, the further south you are towards Lima, Wapakoneta, Findlay, Upper Sandusky, those are the areas that we're really talking about south of that warm front. 5 o'clock, if we can get it to go, there we go. Towards 6 o'clock, here's your evening commute as well. So there's a potential for those showers, again, between 2 and 7 o'clock, and it's going to be a very wet and possibly a wild afternoon and evening. But again, we're not here to scare you. We just want to keep you informed. But looking at the 7 o'clock, it's still an 8 o'clock even pockets of that moderate to very heavy rain that could produce the possibility for some tornadoes, large hail, and also some strong winds as well.
Yep, so we're going to be aware it's spring season, obviously severe weather season. This is what we get this time of the year, and that's why we do our training all through the winter. You don't see it, but here in the WTOL 11 Weather Center, we run through severe weather even when we're off air, just so we can get our practice in and be prepared. And we go through different classes and continual training as meteorologists as well to stay up to date with the latest science and information when it comes to severe weather as well. So meteorologist Kaylee Bauer is doing a great job there breaking down our hour-by-hour forecast. Any of those storms, we want to obviously be watching very closely on the way later tonight. Next couple of hours, though, looks pretty quiet. If you got things to do, if you got some appointments through lunchtime, keep them. You'll be fine. Yeah, exactly.
Be fine. And of course, we'll keep you updated both on air and online. We're on at noon, so in an hour and a half, we'll be here. I'll be here delivering more information for you guys. We may try to do another one of these YouTube lives if our digital team is listening. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Would love to do another one to update you guys throughout the afternoon and the evening.
They sit right over there. You can just go talk to them.
I know. I'll talk to Carmen after
there
this.
You go, yeah.
But we'll try to do another one this afternoon. Of course, we'll be sending more push alerts out to your devices as well. Another favor to ask.
Yeah.
Charge your devices now, just in case. And we're all guilty of this. We all mute our phones, hit that little unmute button, as I mute it right now so it doesn't disturb this live. But unmute your phone so that way any notifications you get from us, from the National Weather Service, they pop up immediately. So that's a big favor to ask. And also, if there is a chance for, if you are seeing tornadoes or damaging winds or any debris outside, obviously get to your safe space, lowest level of your building, interior hallways, bathrooms, just doesn't have windows. But a big thing that a lot of people don't know is wear closed-toed shoes, just in case any of any debris outside. You don't want to be walking outside in flip-flops or bare feet or in your socks. So if you go to your safe place, closed-toed shoes as well.
Very good idea.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Any other questions over on YouTube you see right now, Ryan?
No, people just saying thanks for getting us prepared. I think we did hopefully a great job of answering some questions that are out there. Like I said, we've got the WTOL 11 weather app, so we'll keep you updated on there with videos. Good chance we'll be back here on YouTube Live. And of course, if anything warrants it, we'll be on WTOL through the afternoon and evening to let people know what to expect.
All right, sounds good. Guys, stay safe, stay weather aware, and we'll see you guys later.
Take care. Thanks for joining us.